And we're live.
Have you watched any of that SCP Foundation stuff that I told you about?
Not yet, no.
I highly recommend it. So basically the SCP Foundation. It's this like stuff it comes from the internet, and basically it's like crowdsourced horror stories surrounding. The idea is the SCP Foundation is this organization that since like the early 1900s has been working to capture and control like monsters and ghouls and goblins around the world and keep not only people safe from them, but the knowledge of them hidden. And it's everything from like Bigfoot to like the Loch Ness Monster and like enormous like sea creatures that are thousands of kilometers long to I think one of them was literally like a giant Care Bear that hugged people to death, but also like all sorts of like gods and aliens, and there are these really interesting stories for each one of them, and some of them are really long and intricate and complex, and I think that someone told me that there's a website where you can go and you can write a new one, and you can be like, hey, here's my new this is SCP 3774. It's the Taylor monster. He bites people's heads off. Yeah. And like if your story is good enough, like they'll add it to like the canon. But I've been watching it on YouTube, where like this YouTube channel has like animated tons and tons of them. Yeah. And so I just like when I'm trying to like go to sleep in my like stupor of sickness, I've got these playing, and I'm having like the most fucked up dreams. Some of them are like just kind of like normal monster stories, but some of them are really dark. Some of them are really dark and fucked up. I don't know. I've probably listened to like 60, 70 of them at least at this point. And some of them would make really good movies. Like one of them was about this like lake of blood that that monsters kept coming out of. And so eventually they took a submersible down into the lake of blood to see what was down there. And after a while, they stopped going down and started going up again. And they realized that like gravity had inverted, and now they were rising instead of falling. And when they get to the surface, they're on another dimension, on another planet. And they like explore the other planet for like days at a time. And it gets like super wacky and wild. Yeah, I thought that one was interesting. That was one of my favorite ones.
What was if you were to recommend one, what was one that stood out to you?
Shit. I don't know. Let's see.
Must be hard if you're listening to them while you're sleeping, just getting fucked up dreams. I'm on their channel right now. There's a ton of these. Most of them are around like 15 minutes or so, it looks like.
Yeah, most of them are. There are some really long ones. They're like an hour long that like explore the whole foundation and the history of the foundation and the stuff they've done. Oh, the Scarlet King is one of the like the bigger ones. The Scarlet King is like this demon god that has a whole cult behind it. So that one's pretty wild. I don't know. There's one for like everything. The one about the Bigfoot was pretty interesting because it was like a complete twist on what you would think it would be. Apparently, like we used to live side by side with the Sasquatches, and they were more technologically advanced than us. And we had like a war with them. And
that's a cool twist. I like that.
Yeah, we had like a war with them and like killed them all, and took their technology for our own. And now they like live in the shadows, forever. Hating, and there's a part at the end where like the last time they spoke to the Sasquatches, they had a message and it said, "We forgive you and we want to come home." And it was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. There's a bunch of them that it's like I said, it's everything from like, because it's just written by people, like some of them will be like a hat that just kills people, like a demonic hat. Or one of them was like a door-to-door salesman, but he doesn't knock on your exterior door. He starts knocking from one of your interior doors. And when you open the interior door, he starts trying to sell you something ridiculous. And if you agree, and it's like one of those devil's bargains where like, you never know like what he's actually offering to sell you and what he's actually telling you it costs. So like, he might he might take your heart and your entire circulatory system when what he said was he just needed a little heart, or I can't remember what it was, but like he phrases things in a confusing way, and like he might just he might kill you as payment, or he might just like, oh, I one of them was they wanted the person's soul in exchange for something, but they just took their soul record collection instead because he thought that was funny. Like it's just bizarre. They're always very bizarre and weird because it's fucking
I like that.
The internet who write these things.
I like that.
But I've been really into it for like the last week, I guess. I've been watching and listening to them.
I love horror content, so this is good stuff. I need to watch some. I just subscribed to their channel.
Some of them are actually pretty dark. It's the SCP Explained channel is the main one I've been watching, but then there's another channel called the Exploring series that features SCP content as well.
And what does it stand for? SCP?
Oh shit!
Scary.
What is this?
I don't know. I just went to their channel to try and find out, and I don't know what SCP stands for.
Secure, Contain, and Protect.
Secure, Contain, Protect. Okay, makes kind of a little sense.
Yeah. So they're like, I don't know. There's a lot of them, and most of them are pretty interesting. Like, I didn't realize it was like crowdsourced until I was like halfway through my journey watching these things.